All right, what's up, everybody? 8:30 a.m. EST, back on the air. We just had some data come out right now, and let's see what that was. We have Friday, 6:30. Okay, so USD PCE price index. So this is like a kind of an undercover inflationary metric, and it's dollar weak, meaning that the data that came out made the dollar look weak, and that's going to result in everything going up against the dollar. Anything that's traded against the dollar is going to either want to go up or it's going to want to go down less, right? So we'll take a look at that in the charts. Here's the data. It's off by I think call it 10 basis points. Basically, it's 0.2% instead of 0.3. Oh, yeah, that's right. And that is, again, that's an inflationary measure. Let's read exactly what it says. Change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. Okay. So actual less than forecast is bad for currency, meaning dollar weak. And in the chart, you can see it. I usually go to the euro for this because, there's no use looking at anything I'm not going to trade. I don't trade the DXY, and the DXY is a good thing to look at just for the numbers, but you can see this little pop-up in the euro. And the euro, I've been watching it and trading it and scalping it and just working on it a lot. And I can tell you that it has been bullish since last night and actually since a few days. It became bullish. I made a little money on that, and that's fine. Overall, across the time frames, it's a bit bullish. It is coming up against resistance, but I think it is going to continue to head up against that for the meantime. And what is that going to look like in the charts? Well, because it's up against resistance, it might have a hard time getting past some of these peaks right here. Right here at $1, basically 8.9 and $1.899. So like $1.89. That's $1. How do I say this properly? Almost $1.09 and almost $1.09, right? So what really matters though is that price may make its way up to here and then reject. So it might be okay to grab some scalps on the way. My algorithms are not kind to that at the moment. I mean, I could take some small trade scalps on the way up. This little pop-up that we're seeing here on the 5-minute chart, it is kind of sustaining. And again, the resistance is right up here. So, I mean, what's the use of taking a trade when all I'm going to get is maybe a 1-to-1, right? Something like this. And my stop loss would be below the little pump for today. So, I mean, I could take a scalp like this, but I think I'm going to let this news kind of wash its way through the market and take a look at the lower time frames and see if I can grab a quick pullback on it, because I think it's either going to go straight up or it's going to actually pull back and go up like this. So it's going to do one of the two. And if it goes straight up and I miss the trade, that's fine. I'm not thirsty for trades like that. But if there is a slight pullback and the lower time frame algos are going to give me the okay on this, I might take a scalp. It's really difficult because on the algos, everything is up against resistance, right? Even though we're not looking at price action resistance, I mean, there's some right here, some pretty close. But on the algos, everything kind of wants to tip over. So what probably will happen, I'm guessing over kind of a bit more of a higher time frame. Let's say look at the 30-minute chart here. So you look at the rest of the day's price action on the euro, move on to Bitcoin after that. We're probably going to look at I'm going to answer your questions, Golden Khan. Give me a second to finish this and we'll get into your questions. Probably something that's going to just eke up to here, maybe even poke above, and then it might head down. If it does head up, though, that would be a significant breakout because there's a fair amount of resistance right here. If it does break above that, we can go to a higher time frame to take a look at what might happen from a Fibonacci extension standpoint. Let's do that here. So, I mean, I would like to see price break above this. What I am seeing, though, it's interesting, is a little bit of a head and shoulders formation, actually. So if price heads back up, right, if price does break above all that mess right there on this, we might be able to pull a nice head and shoulders trade. Now, this is on a higher time frame. I do trade this, though. This is the swing trade time frame. So it's reasonable to for me to try to take a trade like this. It's within my rules. And here's a head and shoulders forming up nicely. So price can break above here. If it can, then it's a little bit of an upward slope on this, which is not ideal. It's cutting into profit, but it's not a deep slope. So it may be worth it for me to look at a trade like that. So let's see how the targets might look from a Fibonacci standpoint. And here we are. This is a good 272 because it's right below this resistance right there. And then the 618 is right below this resistance right there. So it might be worth a head and shoulders move here, trading that head and shoulders. But prices have to break above this neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and create a trend line that parallels this. And if price breaks above that, then I may be interested in taking along from on a higher time frame standpoint. So crossing HS, there's a lot of kind of conversation about sell in May and go away. So we're seeing not a lot of volatility in markets. There's a lot of choppiness. You can see even here on the 3 hour, just a lot of wicks. There's not a lot of very fine price motion. However, it's still tradable. It's very scalpable actually. So it's not like it's totally dead, but I would say price does appear like it's going to continue to head up, maybe a little more slowly up until this. And then what happens there is whatever happens there. Golton Khan asks, Golton, you're the one who's been asking me questions about Rogue Coin. I don't know what Rogue Coin is when you're asking about that, just so you understand. I think you've been leaving me messages on the YouTube videos. So I'm not sure what Rogue Coin is. Now there may be some projects coming out involved. Yeah, Rogue Coin. You just mentioned it. I don't know what that is. But I can tell you that there are things working in the background along those lines. We will talk about them when that time comes. You do have what can be new WIF. I mean, anything could be the new WIF or new meme. There's just so many memes. It's impossible to know. What happened, Rogue Team? I can tell you right now, V has been wrapping up his fiscal year and he's just busy. So you're asking an awful lot of questions that are not chart questions, although I can answer your question. AI coins. Yeah, AI coins are probably going to do great. I did an entire video on crypto narratives. I think it was last week. Let me take a look at that. Where is this? Coin bullish. Here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and link to a video in the comment section. If you want to know about AI coins, whether or not they're good, just go ahead and watch this video that I just put in the comment section. And that will allow you to understand how I think about AI narrative. I can tell you I'm bullish on it over time. Just remember that Bitcoin, we're going to look at the chart right now. Bitcoin is going through its post-halving pullback, right? So because of that post-halving pullback taking its time to get above the all-time high, then of course, look at this. Wow, doing exactly what I said it would do. So Bitcoin went ahead and actually grabbed liquidity on the lower level liquidity here first. So remember, we were talking about not a lot of volatility, price kind of going back and forth. And the two areas that I marked out on Bitcoin, I think it was yesterday, the day before, it's almost positive it was yesterday. Had a long couple of days, folks. I have very little sleep last night. So forgive me if I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but my son kept waking up and crying, and I think it was a little bit warm for him. Long story short, I'm in very little sleep, but price did run down. Let me zoom into this so we can see this a little bit better. So I drew these liquidity zones out. Now they may not be in place anymore. Yeah, Golton, we're not, like I said, V is just wrapping up his fiscal year with his other business. So Rogue News will continue to do videos, and it's going to be back to a more schedule soon. That's what I can tell you, like next week. At least that's what V said. So that should answer your question. Price moved down yesterday to this bit of liquidity down here around 67,000, which I did say would probably happen soon. And then it moved from there up to grab liquidity up high. So it literally went and did what I said it would do within like a day of me saying that it would happen. So just, pay attention to Rogue. If you're watching these live shows, we're telling you what's probably going to happen with price. You know what I mean? We're just telling you like, hey, this is probably what's going to happen. So before I go here, what I'm going to do is just take another look at the liquidity zones, right? We'll extend this free to the public live lab here just a few extra minutes. And that way we can let you know what the liquidity on Bitcoin looks like and give you a little bit of a forecast. Remember, it's not investment advice. We're not telling you what to do with your money by any means. You need to talk to a licensed professional about that. But if we take a look at the liquidity zones, I can show you educationally what's going on with the charts and what will probably happen. Right now, there's a lot of liquidity close by price sitting at 67,000 to 67,800. So this is a good possibility of where price will go next, right? So you got from 60,000 to right about here. This block, this yellow, what I'm about to code yellow area, that's a good place, probability where price is going to go next. Now, the charts do have to favor a move down for price to head there. But given the lack of volatility right now, the low liquidity environment, there is a decent chance price will go ahead and flip and head that direction. Now, the algos overall are bullish, right? The algos on a high time frame and even the swing trading time frames, price wants to go up. But because the price movements are so weak, because there's just not a lot happening in the market because it's May, you're probably, and the summertime is going to see low volatility for a lot of markets. It's going to take a minute, and Bitcoin will probably head up here, maybe bounce off this local high and come grab this. So it's just a decent trade plan. Again, I wouldn't enter this without my algorithms saying that it's okay for me to do so, but it is a decent trade plan. Now, price might go a little bit higher than this. It might not even head down here. These liquidity maps do change. However, they give us some clues as to the high probability what's going to happen next. So again, with when it comes to rogue news, understand that there's going to be some back to regular activity. I know Gus, he was slammed on Wednesday, so he didn't have time to go on. V yesterday was slammed. So we didn't have a chance to do Markets Mayhem. Today, Velas is traveling, so he doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, so he doesn't have the wherewithal to do his show today. So it's just a lot of people are very, very busy. Rogue news is great, but it's going to continue, and it's going to continue in earnest. But you have to understand that all of us have other things that we're doing. We actually have to pay the bills. So when those things get in the way, sometimes we just don't get to do as many shows as we'd like. So in the meantime, if you look at the screen here on the top right hand corner, you see a QR code. Go ahead and zap that. You can take you over to algofactory.tech, and on there you will learn what we do. We help traders learn how to understand and read these charts. We help traders learn how to build a trading plan. That trading plan can make them able to extract money from the markets on a regular basis. And the biggest driver, the biggest indicator of success of our clients, our students, is going to be their work ethic. It really comes down to how hard you want to work. Now, this is not a get rich quick thing. It takes time. You have to learn how to build these algos, which that learning how to do it doesn't take as long as actually doing it for most people. It's just looking at the screens, it's back testing. It's just like anything else. Hard work pays off in the end. And we do have some pretty satisfied people. You can watch our shows. I put them out every day. It gives you clues as to what's going to happen with price on other things, whether it be, Forex or crypto or anything else. And I do one of those pretty much every day. They're usually about 10 minutes long. So keep your eye out on the YouTube channel. In the meantime, don't forget, trade a job, upgrade your life. And as V would say in this instance,
join us or die.